Boom, we're live. This is Tio and the Arcane Bear. Now, I may not always like to give my opinions. No, that's not true. I always actually love to give my opinion. It's one of the reasons why I started this channel. And one of the things I wanted to take a look at today wasn't the fake news, but more so the fake money. Now, it's been a question that a bunch of the Bear family have asked recently is, will the stock market crash and when? Well, I've always kind of had the assertion that, at least in the last few months, that the stock market may actually inevitably continue to go up and a sky-high break into areas we've never imagined. Now, the real question is why is that happening? As this is the longest and weakest bull market recovery we've ever had in history. And when we start to break economic records in history, we have to start to really look at the underlying fundamentals. And I think the Zero Hedge article that was posted today helps really, share that thought. So let's dive in and take a look at some of the charts that they have here. So Tyler Durden, again, great work. Obviously a pseudonym for someone or groups of people. Obviously amazing amount of content. But here we see over the last, the NASDAQ composite, I think this is between 2000 and 2018, and we see a continual growth. Yeah, this was the last stock market crash in 2001, 2008 here, and then this long recovery. So here they're stating the Dow or the NASDAQ actually slipped below 8,000 this week, but it's easy to keep our reservations. The record bull market in U.S. stocks is still on, and with little imagination, the assistance of crude chart predictions show that the Dow at $40,000 could be eclipsed by the end of the decade. Sorry, the Dow at 40,000 could be eclipsed by the end of the decade. And remember, as I was saying, that anything is possible with fake money. Now, one of the real difficult questions in the continual rise of the stock market is why? Now, regardless of how much money you print, there's two main problems. Number one, this creates something called inflation. But number two, it really starts to erode at the confidence, which is one of the main perceptible factors in why any fiat currency has value at all, because people start to lose faith and confidence in what's happening. Now, fake news, fake money. This has been abound for a long time. Now, I'm not a supporter of any particular presidential elect or candidate. I think that system has been flawed for many years, and I myself am not a big fan of choosing one evil over another. They're both crap. It was always a crap choice. Now, I do think, for better or for worse, there have been some staggering things going on in the U.S. Government that could end up being prevail, although the downside, and it's a very big downside, is that the polarization of people's thoughts, which is very noticeable. There's most things you cannot have a conversation about without offending someone, and that's really dangerous. So I think that polarization could very quickly lead to a civil war. Alicat agrees, and over the next few years, I think, aside from the fact that the stock market could just continue to rise and rise with the what appears to be inflation in the U.S. dollar showing itself in the markets, again, remembering, as the U.S. dollar starts to decline, you'll need more of this worthless paper to buy companies or stocks in companies, because the companies represent underlying assets that the company might own. Maybe it's infrastructure or employees or buildings, the log of service and products. And that's important because that's an underlying value in the company, which is why I do believe that the stocks are going up. And there seems to be an enormous amount of the quantitative easing that had gone into buying up junk bonds in the back end, which has basically stimulated this very, very weak growth. Now, Obama wanted to take credit for it, and now Trump wants to take credit for it either. But I'm really going to be interested to see who takes credit for the fact that no one saw the crash coming, and not the crash of the stock markets, which is probably inevitable at the end of the day, but the crash of the U.S. dollar. So I like what they wrote here. It says, driven by a handful of big cap tech companies, the NASDAQ composite has made new highs, but the broad market is not even made it back to the January blow-off peaks, and it is a good bet that the return to the average investor's portfolio mirrors that of the latter. And then such divergences are typically a sign of weakening market internals, which are seen in the near and major trends. So still, we consider the Dow 40,000 to be about as probable as having a dinosaur step on our car as we drive to work. More than likely, the Dow will return to 10,000, and with the first grace of the front page of the Wall Street Journal. Now, I think, again, what's interesting here is that there's so much misdirected energy. Like, people are upset about all sorts of things in politics and government right now, and I can't help but think how inextricably how inextricably linked the government and the banks are to each other. They're almost a brother and sister or kindred spirits in the inevitable corruption of the people. Now, It didn't start off that way. It was never always that way. We seem to have these turning cycles where the human spirit goes through realizing it's better off self-governing instead of telling other people what to do to make the world a better place. We do better ourselves to make the world a better place. And I think that will be a common theme over the next 15 years, is to not worry about what other people are doing so much and focus on fixing whatever problems you have directly in front of you. They could be simple, very simple problems sometimes. So all this polarization especially in the political landscape in the United States is very, very dangerous. These are one of the big black swans, I think, that's flying around in the sky for whatever the markets do next. But on the bright side, that could all be very positive for Bitcoin. And with that in mind, we can take a quick look at Bitcoin's chart here at CoinMarketCap. We did fall to the $6,400 line. Something we had said about 2 or 3 weeks, we'd hit 74, come down to around 75, and then potentially hit 55 or a little bit lower, or there's potentiality of going up. That's the fun of technical analysis. We just watched the trends closely, and as we broke through there, made a big difference. I think more and more so I'm going to call them information technology standards, because I don't necessarily think of it as money anymore. I'm starting to personally believe that information is more valuable than money, and that for the last bunch of years we've had so much, or at least to some degree, a new form of freedom of information, that our entire culture has gotten significantly richer and wealthier together. At the click of a button, you have access to almost all of human records. Even if some of them are skewed by the victor, they are there and recorded, and that's really, really interesting. Again, I think this is important to note. You see all the markets driving upwards, and you see emerging market currencies crashing, and that's a big indicator that we've got some difficult times ahead. Now, people want to put their trust and faith in others. That's not my style. I don't suggest anyone do that. I suggest you do as much work as you possibly can on fixing what's right in front of you, and have faith in that. Have trust and confidence in that. This whole trust the plan thing, I'm not really, as much as I want to give way and just be like, yeah, everything's all good, everything works out the way it's supposed to. I've never seen that. So I guess what I'm going to here is the philosophical enlivenment of the human spirit will be the only thing that helps these technologies move in the right direction, because it's necessitated on our own personal beliefs and our own ability to govern ourselves. And I think, it's hard to show up every day and try to share thoughts on this coalescing story, but I think we are getting to some of the breaking points in the government and banking areas. So we're going to be showing up every day to bring as much information in a very short period of time as we possibly can. So if you're new to the Bear family, remember to hit that subscribe button. If you like this content and you'd like to see more of it, please remember to give us those thumbs up as well. It helps other people later on down the stream find the information that they're looking for. If you happen to like trading, investing, or paying attention, remember none of this is advice, but you can join our Telegram channel in the links below. And there are a bunch of very helpful, friendly Bear family members in the Telegram channel that are willing to be quite supportive. And I'm actually very impressed. So a shout out to them as always. Again, you guys make our community what it is, and so I'm very grateful for all of the Bear family support, because without you guys, it's just not as fun. So thank you. This is Steel with the Arcane Bear. I will probably do a show later this evening just for fun as well, so stay tuned, and I think we've got some fun news coming around the corner. Do a little dance and then make a little love or something like this. Bam.